Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, just in the last hour, Senate Republicans announced no vote on their health care bill this week. Doesn't mean the health care bill is never going to see the Senate floor. Let's take a look at a medical service provider which assists millions of Americans every year. Boy, I can feel the Twitter exploding before I even say the name of it. Planned Parenthood. Go ahead. Send your tweets in at PPFA. Planned Parenthood for America. Boy, nobody's neutral on Planned Parenthood. We hear a lot of talk about funding for Planned Parenthood. What on earth does Planned Parenthood actually do? Okay? Yes, it provides abortions. Although it's difficult to determine exactly what percentage of its services are abortion-related, the organization says it's 3%. Some critics have taken issue with the methodology that leads them to that number and say that it is possibly higher. We couldn't get, I don't have enough knowledge of it to figure out what percentage of what Planned Parenthood does is abortions. But while we're on the topic, no federal dollars can be used to pay for abortions at Planned Parenthood. There are very few and limited exceptions, courtesy of the Hyde Amendment, which was passed in 1976. But is there anything else that Planned Parenthood does? Because some people just say it's an abortion factory. In fact, I can feel it right here on my phone. Some of you are tweeting that to me right now. Just stop for a minute. Put your Twitter down. Planned Parenthood provides health services to 2.4 million women and, are you sitting down for this, men every year. 1 in 5 American women has visited a Planned Parenthood center at least once in her life. For many low-income women, Planned Parenthood may be their only option to access reproductive care. There are 105 counties in the United States where Planned Parenthood is the only full-service birth control clinic. And finally, the organization is a critical tool for saving lives. It provides 295,000 Pap tests and 320,000 breast exams every year, along with 4.2 million STD tests and treatments. I'm not advocating for Planned Parenthood. I'm just trying to tell you that it's a complex organization. For more on what Planned Parenthood does and how they'll be affected by the Senate's health care bill as it stands now, I'm joined by Alencia Johnson. She's the Director of Constituency Communications at Planned Parenthood. Alencia, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Boy, you are in the middle of everything.
We are.
You have just less than an hour ago, Lisa Murkowski, the senator from Alaska, has indicated that she wants to work with Democrats on this bill. She wants to do stuff. And one of the things that she is supportive of is Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. So she's having trouble reconciling why her party wants to defund Planned Parenthood for a year. What happens after this year, first of all?
Well, you know, as Senator Murkowski said, she's in here for adding more health care. And Planned Parenthood provides more health care to women and men, as you said. At risk in this bill are Medicaid patients being unable to come to our health centers for health care. And as you explained, some of the places in which we provide health care is the only provider people can see in a year. And so that's what's at stake in this bill. And that's why our supporters are fighting back every single day and saying, do not mess with our health care and do not touch my health care at Planned Parenthood.
How big a deal is it if this bill goes through and Planned Parenthood loses its federal funding for a year?
Well, as we saw in Iowa, where we were forced to shut down 4 health centers, 15,000 patients were displaced. And we could see that throughout the country if this health care bill was successful. But we have faith in our supporters who are pushing back and calling their senators. Over 150,000 calls have been made to Congress saying, do not block my health care at Planned Parenthood. And as we saw a delay in vote, it's not necessarily a win, but it shows that our supporters are making noise. And as senators go back to their states over recess, they should be prepared to hear from their constituents.
But what does it say to you that all of these senators, almost all of them, you know, with the exception of 10 or 12, half of whom are not voting for this bill because it's not conservative enough. So almost all senators are not only prepared to go along with this, but Republican senators, but they're supportive of the idea that Planned Parenthood is getting cut.
Well, you see that McConnell's delaying the vote because he does not have all of the votes that he needs. And not only is it Murkowski that has said that she will not support a bill that defunds Planned Parenthood, you have Senator Collins as well. You have 2 women who are standing up for women's health care.
Right. Isn't that a little weird to you, though, that it's the 2 women who are
It is
standing
interesting,
up for,
right?
There's no men
This is what happens when you have a panel of men behind closed doors doors, making a health care law that will be devastating to women, especially low-income women. This is a bill that will even impact more than just Planned Parenthood patients. 13 million women could lose maternity care under this health care bill.
What is the message you want to give to people if they're listening to you?
We want our supporters to know that they need to keep the pressure up, keep those calls coming into their senators, let them know that we are patients and that their health care should not be blocked. Go to istandwithpp.org and make your voice heard.
Alencia Johnson is the Director of Constituency Communications at Planned Parenthood. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, to get another perspective, I want to